here, love story time, our favorite time of the day.
At the end of 2017, I was winding down from my time studying abroad in the Netherlands. I had taken my final trip, which was to Morocco, and I was ready to head back to the States. Since there were no direct flights from Amsterdam to JFK, I had two options: a 2-hour layover in Dublin or a 17-hour layover in Riga, Latvia. You can imagine which one I chose.
Revolution will not be televised.
I landed at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which allowed me to drop my stuff off at the hotel and then head into Riga for the afternoon and evening.
That's awesome, look at that.
Getting to the hotel took longer than I expected.
Right now it is 2:30. I got to the hotel about half an hour ago.
I was tired and I wanted to relax, but I had a whole town to explore and I didn't have a minute to spare.
You only get to go to a new place once. The second time you go, it's not a new place.
The first thing I saw in Latvia was a huge dog. You can't really see this at all, can you? While I was busy looking at the beautiful holiday lights of Riga, one thing did strike me as odd.
It is only 3 p.m. This is what it looks like when it's 3 p.m. in Latvia in December. Just completely dark, pitch black out.
One thing that I always say while traveling is that if you hear music and you're just strolling around, you should always follow the sound. And that's exactly what I did. Additionally, I was starving, so I got a burger with a black bun, which was ridiculously cool, and then went to see what kind of Christmas market Riga had to offer. One thing that you're always supposed to do if you visit Latvia is go to the Riga Opera House. The issue was that
They're sold out of tickets for the performance tonight, but I want to see if I can convince them to let me in.
the performance started at 6, so my plan was to show up at 5 and see if I could kind of fly in under the radar. When I got there though, the show was a minute from starting, so I just kind of rushed in and did whatever I could. Lucky for me, they were selling standing room tickets for $5, and I got in just before the door closed. They're very against filming in the Riga Opera House, so I couldn't actually film in there, but this is about what it looks like. I found this clip on YouTube. Okay, so I couldn't stand still long enough to watch all of it.
But I watched a bunch of it, and it was cool. It was a cool experience.
At this point, it was getting late and cold enough to where it was time for me to return to the comforts of my hotel.
Got one.
Upon my arrival back, I told the concierge that I'd need a cab around 4:30 the next morning because my flight was at 6.
My hotel is called the Elephant Hotel.
I fell asleep as soon as I got back to my room and woke up the next morning early, excited to get back to New York.
It's about 4:30 a.m. on December 24th. Let's go home.
When I got downstairs, the concierge looked weirdly surprised to see me, but hastily called a cab, which I got into immediately. When I arrive at the airport, I go to check in and I realize something all at once. Yeah, I'm on flight 7741 to JFK. Mr. Geiger, we've been waiting for you. The gate's about to close. It's only 4:45 and the flight leaves at 6. Mr. Geiger, it's 5:45. Let's back up. See, I had taken my phone off of setting time automatically since I had been in Morocco with no service the previous weekend. Although I set it back when I got back to Amsterdam, I forgot that Latvia is an hour ahead. Suddenly everything that seemed weird, the short distance to the hotel, it being dark at 3 o'clock, the opera house incident, the concierge looking at me weirdly at 4:30 a.m., all clicked together. My clock was an hour off the whole time. Long story short, I made it through security and onto the plane, even though the crew were not my biggest fans. The moral of the story is, when you're traveling, always check the time.